Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where it's time to evolve from a harmless, worthless fish into a non-stop killing machine. This is Evo. Search for Eden. About 4.6 billion years ago, the sun had 9 smaller stars and named the third one Gaia. I would have named it El Camino Bacon Land, which sounds like a happy place, filled with bacon, and El Caminos, and magic Vectrexes that speak to each other, and play Sega 32X when you're not looking. That has nothing to do with this game. In this game, you start out as a fish and eventually evolve into something like a ham sandwich down the road. Which also sounds... I should never record these when I'm hungry. So here I am, billions of years ago, as a fish who's eating other creatures and gaining evolution points. Doesn't that prehistoric fish look delicious? You just want to bread that thing, fry it, and wrap it in bacon, make a sandwich out of it, drown it in mayonnaise, and serve it with a tall glass of beer. I should design video games. They would all be exactly like that. But this game is nothing like that. Evo, Search for Eden, is like an RPG strategy fish simulator, where you start off as a very basic prehistoric life form and slowly evolve, gaining things like teeth and bigger fins, eventually legs, and you crawl out of water and start eating things on land. Evo is a game for very patient people. Because like the evolution process itself, it takes a long time. I mean, it took like an hour for Kevin Costner to grow gills. Hooray! I now have a tail! So what you do in this game is a lot of grinding. You eat everything in the sea and gain as many evolution points as possible, and then grow stronger, and eventually confront end bosses. It's really interesting. It's a very fascinating game. I like the concept, but it's all a bit tedious. Maybe I just didn't get it. I think there's different evolutionary paths that you can take. I was not able to defeat that boss until I grew bigger teeth. And then bit his ass into oblivion. Somebody sample that and make a ringtone out of it. After defeating a boss creature thing, you move on to the next level and face other monsters that you'll have to digest and evolve. The problem is, it just takes forever. It's like watching grass grow. It's not something you want to pay attention to. Just leave it to nature, it'll take care of itself in the background. But somebody in Japan thought they would put it in the foreground here, mixing evolution with a JRPG. It's fascinating, but the gameplay and the boss battles aren't interesting enough to keep the game exciting. The evolution part's the coolest feature in the game because you choose what you want to evolve. Your jaw, your tail, your fins. What I really want to evolve into is Mechagodzilla. But instead, I guess I'll have to settle for a bigger fish. It's an interesting game, not one for me, not one for people who have absolutely no patience, like me. The grinding and the combat just take the life out of a game about life. However, I'm glad to have played it because I never imagined a game like this would exist. So, I do have a Classic Game Room shout-out. And thank you to send all the way to Tim from Prestonburg, Kentucky. Thank you for sending Evo, Search for Eden, to the show. I ended up getting stuck as an amphibian for all eternity, but according to the walkthrough I was trying to follow, you eventually turn into mammals and birds and people and stuff. If you have the time and the patience, to evolve. As for me, I'm happy to eat these creatures before they have time to evolve into telepathic beings that eventually take over the Earth.